Okay.
It was a shower special.
I was going to say, have you been thinking about it in the shower?
Big time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Big time.
I say that like it's something really salacious. It absolutely isn't.
Big time shower boy.
Yeah, big shower guy here. They call me the sprinkler. Because of how long I spend in the shower. Yeah.
Oh no.
Hello and welcome to the Scrambled Checksum podcasts. I'm one of your hosts, Kieran, a guy who this week has been tasked with setting up a VoIP phone system from scratch for my sins. And I'm joined with my co-host, Ethan. And Ethan, as a guy who observed the setting up of a similar system, not by me I should add, and knowing how much I personally enjoy making things janky and not doing it the right way, what do you think the odds are that the deployment date for this goes successfully?
I would say that you're the kind of guy who will just push the button and hope it all goes well.
I've sent the port. The porting request is gone.
Yeah, so exactly. So I feel like the date, whether or not the date should be pushed back, is immaterial to whether or not it will be.
The date can't be pushed back. The date is fixed.
Exactly. Like it will go ahead whether it works or not.
I've submitted the port. I've done zero config, by the way, as well. And I have no plans to do any config until 2 days before the port.
Oh, boy. I assume you're migrating from an existing VoIP solution.
Correct. Migrating from an existing one, porting over 13 numbers. So not a huge setup.
Ah, child's play.
Yep.
Back in my day with...
I've not used the new system either, and I don't really know how the old system works because I barely use that.
Amazing.
So that bodes well.
I'm sure it'd be fine.
Yeah. I also, we're not at the tier level where there'll be any kind of support available.
Brilliant. Well, there will be. You'll be available.
Well, there'll be email support, but like the lowest priority email support.
Okay.
I'll get like the people who are there on work experience.
Oh,
answering my support tickets.
Yeah. Well, I used to answer all the support tickets at our former job.
Yeah, maybe
I was basically on work experience.
Yeah, I knew what you did. Maybe I'll get the Ethan equivalent.
Yeah. You never know.
So what would you give a score if you had to give a score out of 10 for my odds of this not fucking everything up?
Fucking everything
not
up.
Fucking everything up. Like 10 being launch goes smoothly, nothing's dropped, to 1 being it doesn't work. What would you say?
Based on the information you've just given me, I'm gonna hedge my bets and go for a tentative 5.5.
A tentative 5.5. I'll take that. And we'll follow up with this one, dear listeners, in a few weeks' time when when I'm launching with a topic
when we go full time on YouTube because Kieran's been sacked.
Yeah, when I'm talking about what a disaster it was and how we'll never be able to take another phone call again. It's interesting you mentioned 5.5 because I would also say that's a good score for a platform that I used to be very fond of, called Quora.
Oh, yes.
It's not particularly timely. It's not been in the news as far as I know. But I used to quite like the website and I've been wanting to talk about it. So I thought I'd get your views on it. Firstly, do you know what Quora is?
So I think I've happened across it when I've been trying desperately to find answers to niche technical queries. As far as I can tell, I think it's kind of like a kind of forum sort of place where you can kind of ask questions and then people can respond.
Exactly.
Kind of somewhat akin to Reddit, but
kind of. Yeah, it's like a question and answer site, like Yahoo Answers, but like the premium version of Yahoo Answers.
Oh boy! Wow.
Well, no, because I say it's like Yahoo Answers, and it's like, how does I get girlfriend?
And then useful
all the
stuff then.
Yeah. Well, that's what. No. That's what Yahoo Answers was like. Whereas
I see.
Quora would be like.
How do I get prostitute?
It would be like, I'm writing my PhD. I'm not going to dignify that with a response. I'm writing my... That's a Yahoo Answers question if ever I heard one. That's more of a Craigslist question. Quora would be like, or it used to be like, I'm studying for my PhD in astrophysics. Can anyone help me with this conjecture I have And then you'd get a response from like...
Oh, wow. Very highbrow, then.
Well, not quite that highbrow, but the idea is that you would get a response from people
Well, which one is it, Kieran?
It's the highbrow.
Is it prostitutes or PhD?
It's the PhD. Barack Obama used to have an account. Or was it Bill Clinton? Or Hillary Clinton?
If it was Bill Clinton, I think it was probably we know which one it was.
But they used to have, like, serious people. Like serious people used to answer questions on there. I think they were paid. Because they didn't answer many and then they didn't use the website again anymore. So I think they were more of a way to like generate users. But still, they had like knowledgeable people who would give their time, answer a few questions, and they would answer them very well. And it was all about like the quality of the answer. That was their draw. It was like, we give good information.
Is that what the Q's for?
I guess so. I don't really know what the word means. But like, so I like the platform. I used to read it. So I would probably use it in the same way people would read Reddit, where they'd read it in the morning or whatever and just kind of scroll through, and there'd be interesting questions, and I used to learn weird, interesting things from it.
Get life advice from Bill Clinton.
Exactly. You know, it was that kind of stuff. But sadly, like many tech products and platforms, it's been on a downward spiral. I say of late, for many, many, many years. And I wanted to talk about kind of the downfall of a once beloved platform. And, and see if you thought they ever had any chance of it being a success.
Okay.
So the monetization for it was ads, by the way.
Okay, not a surprise. Not a surprise.
Yep, so they had ads running. They still have ads running. They tried to launch a paid-for thing where some answers were paywalled. I guess kind of like Medium. I think it was in response to Medium.
What is Medium?
That's the one. It's like what Twitlonger used to be.
Oh, right.
But people can sell their writing on there. And there's other ones like Substack, where I think it's like Patreon.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, I don't know who would pay for these answers. And also, I feel sorry, by the way, for anyone that's Googled, like, you have a like, do you ever find an answer on there to your complex technical questions when you Google them? No, exactly. They often come up at the top.
Yeah, No, I don't think I've ever found anything useful on
No.
there.
See, this is the thing with it. Like, for all that people say about Stack Overflow, and it is a very unfriendly place.
Yeah.
You can sometimes find answers on there, right?
Oh, what? You have to sign in to just see anything on
Yes,
Quora
you have to sign in to see anything, which I think was a blunder.
Oh, Jesus. I was about to just go on. I was just going to go on to see, like, what was on the homepage, but I can't even do that. It's just a login page. Like, I'm not fucking logging into this.
I think it's like if you Google something and a question comes up, you can read, like, that answer because you've landed on it directly. But if you try and, like, view more when you're there, it'll prompt you to sign in.
Give me a question.
What would be a good question for there? You know what? Let's go with the one that we started with. Let's go with the classic Yahoo Answers question. How do I know if a girl likes me?
How do I know if a girl likes me?
It's a favorite of like WikiHow, with their creepy drawings. Yahoo
I'm using
Answers.
some old school search engine knowledge, putting
Site :
Quora.
Oh right, you're not going full on site :
No. Oh, here we go. What should I do if a girl likes me?
What should I do? That's an interesting one. That's a different phrasing of the question. Did it let you read it?
Hang on. Oh, that's the full question.
Oh wow.
Original answer: if a girl likes me, what do I do? You don't have to do anything. Did she tell you she likes you, or are you hearing this from someone else? If you hear it from someone else, do not do anything unless or until she lets you know she likes you. That's
very alarming, right? Do not, for God's sake, don't do anything. Oh my God, you hear it from anything else? For God's sake,
you don't want to repulse her. Like,
if you hear that from a trusted friend, whatever, for God's sake, whatever you do, don't do anything.
If she told you herself, well then, how do you feel about her?
Oh my God.
Do you think you? But this is basic shit.
That's pretty. That's not
this is basic.
I mean, it's a basic question.
You should see
as
the
well.
profile picture of the guy who responded to this. He's not a young.
Really? Wow.
Oh wait, hang on. It's not a guy. It's a woman. It's Maureen Sharkey.
We'll have to edit that out. It's probably not a real name. Probably not a real name.
It's publicly available on Quora. Yeah.
I'm acting like we got an audience of millions, so we're going to go and dox someone. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not doxing anybody. She posted that. That's a publicly facing name. I don't have any connection with this
That's
one.
true.
This is a
You've just
publicly
Googled it.
facing thing.
That's true.
I just cozied it, and here she is.
Sorry, you cozied it.
Yeah.
But okay, so I think you'd agree that that's a pretty shit answer.
Oh, there's a bot answer.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is what I'm getting to. Is the bot
Okay.
answer any less basic?
If you know that a girl likes you and you are interested in pursuing a relationship with her, here are some steps you can consider. Communicate openly.
Oh,
it's important to communicate openly and honestly with the girl.
It's such a bot answer. It's everything about.
Hey, Kieran, wait for the next one though.
Oh no.
Assess your own feelings.
Assess your own. This is such a AI answer. I don't even know. I can't even pinpoint why.
Take it slow. Respect her feelings. Plan a casual hangout. Be yourself. Seek advice.
Seek advice. Wow.
Isn't that what they're doing?
I guess seek more advice. That's such a bot.
Yeah.
It's not bad information. It's just so bland.
If you can't figure that out for yourself, I feel like that's not what people are looking for.
It's like
I mean, I don't
wallpaper
feel
face.
like you're going to find what you're looking for on the internet. Cause
Well, that's the thing. If
you're
ask
looking
someone-
for a specific answer for your specific scenario.
If you ask
You
someone,
basically want someone to give you the courage to do it. Basically,
yeah, you want
don't
someone to say yes, absolutely. Or you want someone to be like, like you said, give you the courage.
Go and propose to her. You absolutely won't regret it, and
No
have a
regrets.
fun life.
Well, if that was like asked on Yahoo Answers, it would be like, watch her body language. Does she touch her hair when you approach? That like absolute nonsense like that. That's what you get on Yahoo Answers. Just complete and utter.
Does that apply to blokes? Because I'm pretty much continuously fiddling with my hair. It's just like a fidget toy at this point.
It depends on how you. If you brush your hair back behind your ear, you're giving a very different sign to if you tug on your hair nervously
3 times and then spin round.
Or if you
do a curtsy.
if you do you're styling your hair, like you want it to look nice, and that's also a very. It's absolute nonsense, right? You get absolute crap like that on Yahoo. So it's a cut above that, but I don't know, it's hardly groundbreaking stuff, and it's descended even more so because now you've got people can just do posts without a question, so they can just go here are some memes I found. If you want to see dated memes, by the way, I didn't even know memes, and I know that these ones on Quora are dated.
Okay.
Which again, I feel like is not a good way to drive traffic to your site for advertisers, right?
It's an older meme, sir, but it checks out.
Yeah, it's like that kind of stuff. if you want to see that and you want to see
That is my favourite meme. I don't really follow memes, but that's my favourite meme purely. When that one first became a thing, I was like, I cannot wait for this to be an old meme so I can quote it and be out of touch.
Exactly.
So, it's like a beautiful irony. I love it so much.
we're not meme lords, but I feel like we would, if we, for example,
We're beyond the meme.
Yeah, beyond the meme. We are memes. No,
Yeah,
we're not memes. That's the problem.
You cannot. No, you cannot see that which you are, Kieran.
Exactly. So therefore,
We are the memes.
we are the memes. It's like you'll see a space on there called lol funny 100% made me cry with laughter, with an ugly looking emoji laughing as its profile picture, and you'll be like, I'm in for some bad content if I follow this.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the least funny content I've ever seen. Actually, this is gonna make me laugh, but it'll be a laugh of pain.
Yeah.
Like laughing, but it's kind of a resigned laughter because there are people in the world who find these posts funny.
Yeah. Well, everyone needs a hobby.
They do, but the real death blow that I wanted to kind of talk to you about it's not a very serious topic. It's not very consequential, but I used to like the website. The real death blow.
Podcast, really.
The real death. Well, it did get going, Quora. And there are some people in there.
I was more meaning in terms of it's not very consequential.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, absolutely. There are some people on there, I will say, who still hold out, bastions of quality content. But the guy who runs it, the CEO, they don't really develop the site anymore. They don't really launch new features and stuff. Mm-hmm. But he got big into AI.
Of course.
And you can imagine that a site that's got lots of questions and lots of answers would probably be quite valuable training data for an AI model, right?
Well,
assuming the answers are good.
Depends on the quality.
Well, yeah, I don't think... I would love to see a chatbot trained on Yahoo Answers, actually, now that you say that.
Christ.
Can you imagine how deranged that would be? Like, you just fed in...
Do you think it would be any better or worse than Microsoft Tay?
It would be similar. I think.
Do you remember Microsoft Tay?
I remember Microsoft Tay.
For anyone who doesn't remember it, that was an AI that Microsoft naively trained on Twitter data.
I don't know how they managed, because it started off quite normal, but it seemed to be influenced by users.
I think it wasn't. I don't think it was even a day. I don't think it even lasted a day before it started spouting racism, anti-Semitism.
It was a disaster.
It was like
I don't know what they were thinking.
No, I don't know why. It was a I feel like anybody with half a brain, or anybody who's ever spent more than anyone who uses the internet for more than just sending emails, who's not your mum, your dad, your gran, could have told them that would not end well.
It was, yeah, it was almost innocent in how naive they were. It was almost like, oh, they did it. That's
deliberately.
Quite cute that they thought that wouldn't turn into a disaster. But they're Microsoft. How did you not know that? So what I'm curious on now is what do you think an AI that was trained on various different platforms would be like? So you got the Quora one. You've got one that was trained on Yahoo, and what about one that was trained on eBay? eBay listings. eBay and Facebook Marketplace listings.
Oh dear. I think it'd be I think it'd probably make quite a good politician.
Yeah, just
quite a dubious relationship with the truth.
Yeah, just very, very it would omit key information. Say you were selling a phone with a screen, it would omit the fact that the screen was cracked.
Yeah, it genuinely is a screen. That's a lot of things. You get a lot of things that you can tell they're trying to make you think that it's an original manufacturer's part, without claiming that it is, so that they can't get done for it not being the manufacturer's part. I think the
real question that we're asking here, I think the real question at the heart of it is, what is a manufacturer? Is it, if it was originally manufactured?
Well, that's the thing. They'll say OEM screen. Yes, it's made by the screen itself was made by an OEM.
Exactly. So who's to say that it's not the device?
They don't say it's the OEM that they. Yeah, they didn't say that it's the OEM screen for the laptop.
It fits
you specifically
the laptop that you asked for.
Yeah.
That it's an OEM screen that will fit into the housing.
Yeah. Yeah. So quit your whining.
Yeah, and if you've got the one or two models that aren't compatible with it, well then that's someone else's problem. That's your fault for not checking.
Yeah.
But anyway, the guy who runs it, the CEO, got into AI, and I guess was kind of oh, we're not making any money off Quora because people aren't advertising on it as much as we'd like them to. So then, instead of it being incentivizing quality answers to questions, which I feel is what you would want to incentivize on that kind of website, it instead just incentivized volume of questions.
Okay.
Because then they implemented a bot that could generate questions.
Oh.
And then people could answer them, or I think you could have the bot answer the question as well. And then they started prompting users as well who were answering the questions. It was hey, we think you should include this AI generated image in your answer. So now the whole website's just full of absolute shit.
What the fuck?
It's just AI generated garbage.
Oh jeez, I've just started scrolling through this. I was just looking to see whether there was any of these AI images on this thread. So I've only just noticed, but this Maureen Sharkey, her underneath her strapline is lifelong learner and forever student. And then there's another response from a Dorothy Holder, who works at Energy Therapies. And then scrolling down a little bit further, you've got Frenzy Exarona. I'm not even going to try to we're going to try to pronounce that, but their strapline is Master in Sexology.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. You can put whatever you like there.
Yeah.
See,
what even is sexology?
These people are true masters of their craft.
Yes, obviously, quite clearly. That's why they're posting on Quora.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're spending their time answering these kind of questions on there. But I just think it's sad that like a noble platform dedicated to intellectual pursuits.
IT in aviation and dance.
Yeah, it's now this. Aviation and dance. Is that like wing walking?
Hard talk dating advice. 25 years experience.
Oh, that sounds like someone. that is 100% someone who on their Facebook profile puts their job as School of Hard Knocks, or like education as University of Life, and you're like, oh, and who says stuff like, "I just tell it like it is."
I feel like if you've got 25 years experience of dating, you're probably not very good at it.
25 years of rejection.
Like, just, hot take. Unless I don't know. Maybe that's what you were going for.
They could be one of those pickup artist types.
Yeah.
With their whole
they're like Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
I haven't watched that show.
Well, you should, apart from the last season.
I can kind of imagine what a character in that show would be like.
He's very funny, but he's very problematic.
But yeah, I thought that was quite sad that they've now pivoted towards all this AI.
Yeah.
And they've also launched what did catch my eye though is that they've launched a sister app, I guess you'd call it, called Poe.
All right. Like Kung Fu Panda.
I believe more as in Edgar Allan, but
I see.
It's. I guess the Kung Fu Panda one's probably more apt.
Okay.
And more apt source for the name now. But you can ask. Apparently, it's the fastest way to interact with the various chatbots, and one of the ones they have available is none other than your buddy.
Oh, not Claude.
They have Claude. You can ask questions to Claude.
My boy Claude.
Yep, and they apparently I don't know whether it's trained on their own data or whatever, but there is. You can speak. It supports Claude.
Oh, that's just reminded me of. I can't remember if I spoke about this last week or not, but I've been using the Ecosia AI.
Oh no, they've got one too.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it's
just a wrapper, right, for one of the other ones because they've not got.
Yeah, it doesn't say what it's using.
Probably, maybe it's one of the open. Maybe it's like Mistral. Like, is that the open source one? Or is Claude open source, but it's Facebook? Or
no, Claude isn't open source, but there is an open source one that you can use through
Llama
as well. Llama is the Meta Facebook one, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is open source, right? Or
it is
open source, but not really open source because it's Meta. I think it's open source. Right.
So here's here's a question that I asked. So I said, why does the Renault E-Tech truck have gears?
As in, okay.
And then it gave me some information on it that was very generic, and I said, does it have less gears than a diesel truck? Because the reason I was asking this is because the Renault E-Tech truck has been added into Euro Truck Simulator, and it has the same amount of gears as the diesel trucks in there, which I thought was odd.
Oh, so you're like, is that a mistake, or is that...
Yeah, or is that actually... But I couldn't find anything on Renault's website about it. And then it says, electric vehicles like the Renault E-Tech truck typically have fewer gears than diesel. This is because of blah, 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 blah. And then I said, can you give me a reference for this information? And it says, for more detailed information on gear systems of electric vehicles like the Renault E-Tech truck compared to traditional diesel vehicles, you can refer to an automotive engineering publication, or the electric vehicle manufacturer website, or technical articles on electric vehicle drivetrains.
That's terrible.
And I was like, Can you please name a specific article or publication? I recommend looking into technical publications such as SEA International Journal of Electric Vehicle Technology or articles from reputable automotive engineering magazines. It can't reference.
Right.
So which makes any information it provides completely worthless.
So either it's got... No, because if it had old training data, it could still reference. It would just be old references.
Yeah.
So that's kind of useless.
Yeah.
I wonder what model that is then.
It doesn't. Yeah, like I say, it doesn't say. Most of them say what they're.
Yeah, they're like
on,
all powered by whatever, like.
Yeah.
Like the Bing one.
This one's power. It's a Cozier, so it's probably powered by hopes and prayers.
Yeah, right. Do they plant a tree for every prompt that you ask?
No, but you do have an option to get the answer or get the sustainable answer.
What's the sustainable answer?
Yes.
What is it? And it just says yes.
Yes, it is. Yes.
What? So you literally? That's not true.
You can get a sustainable answer. Kieran, what would you like to ask?
Is it literally just like you type in the question and you've got get an answer, get sustainable answer? If you click get sustainable answer, it just returns yes.
No, it doesn't just return yes.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like that.
That's me saying me saying yes is yes it does a thing.
Oh,
I don't know what it does.
Because I was like, oh, what? So you'd ask like whatever question you asked it, you just click get a sustainable answer and it will return yes because it saves on the compute to actually like generate you an answer.
Yeah, although that option seems to have gone now. It did used to.
We're blowing this wide open.
Yeah.
We'll title this really clickbait thing like Ecosia burns tree. No, they don't. No, I don't want to start misinformation. No.
Oh, green answer. There we go. So tick green answer.
What does? Yeah. Does it say what that does?
It basically just tries to give you eco-friendly recommendations on things.
Oh, so it'll be like, I don't know. How do I commission a coal-fired power station? It'll be like, have you considered solar?
So I put where should I shop, and the regular answer was there are many options for shopping depending on what you're looking for. You could consider online retailers, local stores, or even second-hand shops for more sustainable options. If you're instead, if you're interested in eco-friendly shopping, you might want to. And then I did green answer. It says looking for shopping recommendations. How about exploring eco-friendly brands or second-hand shops for more sustainable options? Shopping with the planet in mind can make a big difference. Let me know if you'd like more tips on sustainable shopping.
That's absolutely useless.
Yeah, it's like, oh boy, this thing's about as helpful as like the chat support bots on various websites.
Yeah, you go on there. It's like there's one particular company that I have to use quite a bit at work, and they have one, and they've got a really good human support, but you can't get to them until you've tried twice with the AI one.
Yeah,
which is infuriating because it's like, you put like operator, can I speak to an operator? Need to speak to an operator. Human operator. And it's like, I'm sorry, you need to try and get me to help you. I'm like, I know you're not able to help with this.
Yeah.
It's like, just give me the irrelevant FAQ.
It's basically, like, in my experience, if the AI can help me with it, it's something I already know how to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically like the AI can only ever help you with, like, how do I turn it on?
It's like the AI can only help you if you've done literally not a single thing.
Yeah. I've done nothing and I'm all out of ideas, as
yeah,
you used to like to say.
It's like, oh, how... It's like you've read the FAQ and the FAQ hasn't helped you, so you're like, right, I need to speak to a human because I've got an edge case. And then you go to do it, but it's like, oh, here's the FAQ. I'm like, I already read that. The answer's not in there. It's like, here it is again. But it takes like 4 questions to get it to give you the answer, and you have to do that twice.
Yeah.
So I have to go on there and do like 8 questions to this useless chatbot.
It's the kind of thing that could, hypothetically lead you to do something stupid.
It is the kind of thing that could lead you to do something stupid.
But, like, I wouldn't know anything about that. Ha ha ha.
Is this your blunder?
I did a stupid.
I was wondering, I'm curious what this is.
So, last week we were talking about my my start down the journey of learning how to do some mobile phone repairs. Little did I know that wouldn't be the only repair I was trying to figure out how to do this week after a happy, not so happy whoopsie-daisy.
Oh no, have you... So is this the... So, for context, you bought a Pixel that had dead pixels, and you're going to do a screen swap.
Well, I haven't done anything on that yet because the parts have arrived. I did order the parts. I'll get to that later, I guess, maybe. Or maybe once I've finally repaired it. I'm still waiting on some stuff to arrive. But anyway, yeah, so last weekend I was chilling, minding my own business. I think I was downstairs on the sofa watching some YouTube on my laptop, and I noticed that there was like a bit of a space opening at the bottom near the hinge on the right hand side. And I was like, oh no, this is probably the classic thing on like laptops with a plastic housing where basically the press fit nuts that the screws for the hinge go into on the top of the laptop basically break away from the plastic back, and then the hinge is basically not attached to anything anymore.
Right.
So I was like, right, okay, brilliant. I'm probably gonna have to get a new top cover. So I'll take the bezel off just to investigate. So I shut my laptop down. Started trying to unclip the bezel. Turns out it's held on with adhesive as well as clips because fuck right to repair, I guess, or ease of repair. So I managed to get the bezel off, and yeah, it was fucked as I thought. And I was like, okay, no big deal. I guess I'll just do a jank repair for now. I'll get like a big wood screw and stick it through there just to hold it in place while I wait for a new top cover to arrive. Ordered a new top cover, turned my laptop back on. The screen's cracked, baby.
Oh. Do you think you broke the screen?
Well, I guess technically it was a joint effort.
Right.
I broke it because, like, I think basically it broke because the amount of, even though I was being quite gentle, the amount of pressure I was having to put, even after heating, to get the adhesive to tear, and because of how flexible the plastic backing is on the monitor, on the screen, I think I must have flexed the back too much.
Right, so you've in the process of trying to repair it.
Yeah.
Or trying to not even repair it, trying to
literally just remove the bezel.
Yes.
Which on any laptop that I've ever repaired before, other than a Lenovo, because my brother's Lenovo was exactly the same, had adhesive holding on the bezel for no fucking reason. Why? It could just be screws.
Yeah.
They used to do. But
that's infuriating.
Yeah, it's ridiculously stupid. Or magnets, like on the Framework laptop. But hey ho. Luckily, when I did it on my brother's laptop, the reason we were removing the bezel is because the screen was already broken, and we needed to replace it.
At that point.
Yeah, but on this occasion, that wasn't the case. So I had to buy another screen. Couldn't afford to buy the original screen because it was ridiculously expensive, so I just went for the third party option. I went for the third party option, which, to be fair, it's nothing special. It's not like it's a laptop with a color accurate display and blah blah blah. I still got an IPS screen. It's good enough for what I need it for, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I ordered another back cover, and I was thinking, the back's very flimsy, and I feel like this is the kind of thing that could easily happen again, because there's basically, it just takes the back getting flexed a little bit too much, and the screen
am I right in
breaks.
thinking this is the same laptop you currently have screwed to a piece of wood?
Yeah, well, so yes, I did send you a picture. That was I made a jank monitor out of another old laptop quite a while ago.
Yeah.
So I basically, what I did is I unscrewed the entire top cover from my laptop, and then folded the top cover underneath because it has all the antennas and stuff mounted to the top cover. And then I put it with this jank monitor that I'd made, which is basically the jank monitor I'd made is the laptop screen off a laptop with all the housing and everything, with the hinges then screwed to a nice block of like chopping block kind of wood.
A sturdy solution.
Yeah,
no cheap plastic rubbish for Ethan.
Yeah, and then the driver board for the monitor that I bought off eBay is like screwed to the back of the screen.
Apple need to get on your level, dude.
But
Space Age titanium, and you're there with the block, the 1 inch thick block of wood.
It's funny you should say that because so I was using that as a temporary measure just so I had a screen for the laptop.
Okay, so that was the origin of that picture.
Yeah. So fast forward a little bit, the IPS screen arrived the other day, and I have I'm gonna get your live reaction here, Kieran. So just bear with for a second.
I still think. Do you think there will ever come a time when Apple will like release a laptop that's like in a wooden? It's like, are we gonna have a full pivot to like a natural materials revolution? Of like, oh, we've got the new iPhone, and one more thing, it's in a wooden case. I assume it would look a bit more elegant than. No offense to your wooden laptop backing.
It's
sturdy. I like how sturdy it is.
What's the fucking droid cam? That's what I'm looking for.
I appreciate the sturdiness of it. It fills me with a lot of confidence. If it can hurt you if you were to drop it on a body part, then to me it's a quality solution.
If it can break you before it breaks itself, then it's solid.
Then it's solid and is a good product. I think you could commercially sell those.
I'm not sure what insurance policy I'd need, but I assume like a good one.
What, for selling a wooden laptop case? Well, it's like Matey Boy with his mouse case, right? You've seen the ads. I'm here with a mouse case.
iPhone 16 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he stands
in a mouse case on top of Google HQ. Let's go.
Yeah. He stands outside public places making a spectacle and a nuisance of himself, throwing his phones up in the air.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here at the Samsung store with a mouse case, and I'm gonna break a Samsung Galaxy. Yeah, it's like that guy. But like,
Jesus, calm down. You're gonna hurt yourself.
So could you not have the equivalent, but like you've got like the wooden one?
Okay.
Because I think your wooden one could be
Are you ready?
His mouse case. Okay, I'm ready. So I'm viewing a picture of a laptop at the minute on this webcam.
It's not any laptop.
Okay. So the flexing's. Oh my god, it's a wooden back.
Yeah, I made a wooden back for my laptop.
That's beautiful. It actually looks really quite elegant, I will say. The fixings are a little bit janky. It's kind of held on with like, what are they, like plastic plugs or something?
Oh no, that's not holding that. That's taping on like a foam backing behind.
Oh, okay.
The screen. The actual screen is held on with double-sided tape at either corner, which is basically how it was held on by the manufacturer onto the real back.
Yeah. The screen has no picture, listeners. Ethan, does it show an image?
It does.
That's quite special. Oh, there's signs of life. I can see a Lenovo logo.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
it works.
Working.
There is one problem. Do you think you can guess what it is?
Is it that it won't fold flat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It folds further flat than I thought.
That's as far as it will go at the moment. It's the screw.
What's stopping it? Oh, yep. Okay.
So there's some calibration required. It's not finished. It's a work in progress.
That's pretty sharp.
But I'm pretty happy with it. It makes me unreasonably happy.
That actually looks pretty. How did you cut that?
So I bought a piece of plywood from B&Q. Other hardware stores are available, and then I drew on it a template on it from the back of the laptop.
Yeah.
And then just used a jigsaw, basically.
I will say to the listeners, considering that was cut out with a jigsaw of plywood, which I know from using it for other projects, splinters to all hell. Yeah. How did you stop the splintering, actually? Because it doesn't look like it's got like a big... Like, if I'd have cut that out...
Being an absolute pro.
Was there any techers to that, or was that just cut it out with the jigsaw?
So I used.
Did you do the tape method?
No, I used the clamping a plank of wood, parallel with where I needed to cut,
yep.
so that I could run the jigsaw along there.
And did the clamping of the parallel piece as well also stop it from splintering and fraying? Because that's the problem I always get with plywood. Is it
I think as long as you're cutting with the grain.
Right.
It's plyboard, not chipboard.
Oh, okay.
So chipboard might be what you're thinking of. That does tend to splinter.
I'm sure I cut some plywood once and it did the same, but it was a bit thicker.
You also might have had a blunt saw blade.
I was cutting it by hand as well. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, that won't help.
Yeah.
And if the saw wasn't kind of perfectly sharp, that can cause that. Where I've got some brand new blades for my jigsaw.
That's a really impressive build.
I think if you saw it in person, you might be slightly less impressed.
It might be a little bit rough around the edges that's getting hidden by the camera, but I think that's any project that anyone's built for YouTube, I think, would suffer the same fate.
Yeah. It will be better. It also doesn't sleep when you close the lid.
No, but that's just because it doesn't close all the way, right? Or is that like a missing magnet or something?
It might be. I couldn't see a magnet on because the laptop itself, being a budget-oriented laptop, it doesn't have magnets to hold the screen closed anyway.
Yeah. I wonder what's
I'm not really
that then.
I don't know.
Because will it close if you just put a book over it?
I wonder whether it might be the camera detecting.
Maybe. Does it have a privacy flap on it?
It does actually. Yeah, that's a good point.
And maybe they just lied about the camera flap. Well, actually no, because it can't. Cause it's
Hang on, I'm going to do a live experiment. Hang on.
Because I'm wondering if you just put something over the top of it. Or is it some... I would assume...
I've got the old top cover here. I'm just going to place it on top of the laptop and see if it causes it to sleep.
My guess is magnet and a Hall effect sensor, but I could be wrong. That would be my...
No.
So what causes the sleep?
Must be something in the hinge.
Yeah, some kind of it can tell what angle it's at. Because generally they close a little bit before they're fully shut, right?
Yeah.
That'll be a fun one to
But then why isn't it working?
Well, that's the thing. If it's in the hinge, yeah.
I don't know. It's not a major problem. I very rarely I usually either shut down if I'm going to be not using my laptop for if I'm going to be using it in the next 15 minutes, it's probably staying where it is, and if I'm not, then I'm probably shutting it down anyway.
Yeah, it's no big loss. Plus, won't it go to sleep anyway in Windows just from inactivity?
Yeah, it will eventually.
Just not
anyway.
I don't think. Yeah, it's the same, right? Wow, that's such a... What the big question is, what are you going to do for the back design?
Well, I was actually thinking of doing a stencil of the text on the back of my virtual laptop on this fine podcast.
I did think a stencil would be pretty cool, but that's actually ingenious.
Yeah, so not a flipping MacBook.
Yeah, that's I was going to say you could hand draw an Apple logo, but that's better.
Yeah. The reason that I was saying it's funny you should say that when you were talking about the Apple doing wood and stuff is I was thinking after I did it, because I've been making a video on it as I've been doing it.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm planning to put on I'm planning to start another YouTube channel where I kind of document my learning how to repair thing journey.
And
it's just kind of, and I was just thinking, this is exactly what this is perfect ammunition for Apple to use when they're saying you don't want to go to a third-party repair. This is what a third-party repair looks like. They'll just use a bit of plywood and fucking some sellotape.
They'll just double-sided tape it and seal it up with wood.
Hey, I used quality wood screws, all right, and I've even used washers,
right,
so I must be professional.
Exactly.
Yeah, I even wore ear defenders when I was using the jigsaw.
It's all OSHA approved.
Yeah, I used sunglasses to stop wood chips going in my eyes.
I mean, that's one step better than just squinting.
Yeah.
Or looking away. It's
that's the best thing to do when operating a power tool. Always look the opposite direction. It's best not to know. If you feel pain, stop.
Yeah, it's you want to risk cutting your hand with the saw. but like save your eyeballs, or do you want to just do the squinting method and kind of be able to see and make sure you're not going to go through your hand?
Eyeballs can't be sewed back on.
Yeah, that's true. At the height, I would definitely. I mean, or like you say, you could just choose like sunglasses or any other prescription glasses as though they're safety glasses.
Yeah, they're totally
rated
safety.
The same thing. They'll take a spark.
Oh yeah.
You got the angle grinder, right? Don't you worry about it.
Yeah,
now,
please don't take any of our advice.
Yeah,
At least I didn't nearly cut my jugular.
Yeah, exactly. Time. That is satire, by the way. We do follow some degree of safety.
I did. Yeah, totally did.
Yeah, well, a little bit of safety. We think about it.
Just because we didn't doesn't mean that you shouldn't.
Yeah,
like we don't do what we did, and if you do, it's entirely on you. You muppet.
Yeah, practice safe wood sawing. Now, you mentioned Apple in there and how you put that. I think actually by putting that plywood thing on the back, by the way, you turned it into a imitation Apple product. Strictly speaking, but we know who likes to rail against that, and who would defend you to the death.
Would it be Louis Rossmann?
It would be our old friend.
Louis Rossmann.
What
a guy. He sure is a guy who can turn a 3-minute topic into an hour-long rant. Much like myself.
He's doing good work for Right to Repair.
He is. We only rib him out of love. That sounds really dodgy. But you know what?
And I saw actually myself before we started recording tonight that he's uploaded a video calling it MKBHD for his video, where I think it was the one where he went to the Apple testing facility, right?
Yeah. Can I just take the time to appreciate the fact that loads of people, when they talk about Marques, still call him MKBHD, even though that's not been his channel name for probably like 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah, I stopped thinking about that, but you're right. He still has like the MKBHD logo though, right, in his intro. Kind of. It's got like it's like looks like how
Good
it's like the design language of MKBHD.
I don't think it actually says MKBHD anymore. I think it's just
not
got
really,
a logo.
But it kind of like stylized like that. Maybe it's like
the
MB.
same. It's the same logo, but it doesn't say. No, it's just like a cross sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I just always think of him MKBHD still. I don't even think.
Yeah, so do I, because he is MKBHD. That's if you search MKBHD, that's what comes up. But
yeah, I guess like what else would come up, and like I didn't actually twig that his channel's now Marques Brownlee.
To be fair, the handle is still at MKBHD.
Oh, there you go then. Yeah, he's still MKBHD.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was his video where he goes to the Apple test facility, right, where he talks about like how they test it for like water ingress and all that stuff. Yeah,
which, to be fair, I didn't need a Louis Rossmann video to call it out for me to be watching that going, haha, yeah, sure, Craig Federighi or whoever it was he was interviewing. I don't think
it was Craig Federighi.
It wasn't Craig Federighi, actually, on this particular... I think he has interviewed Craig Federighi.
That was a different subject.
In the past.
Yeah, the questions were quite...
Who was it that he interviewed?
The questions
Softballers.
Yeah,
Lewis,
they weren't... I think they had the sound to me like someone at Apple had approved them beforehand.
Yeah.
Or... Yeah, I assume that's what had happened. It was like, oh, here's my questions I want to ask, and they're like, yeah, no, or they were just quite soft questions.
Yeah, I can understand why Mr. Rossmann is peeved.
Yes, so I haven't seen his full video. What was the summary of his take?
So the summary is basically because Apple have released a document as well alongside this video.
Well, he said it was released alongside it, and that's what I couldn't understand. I don't know if it comes up later in the video. Because Louis said, like, oh, they've released this alongside Marques's video. Was it like...
Yeah.
How did they do that? Was that like, oh, Marques came to our facility, check out our document?
I don't think they've linked it. I think it just... The timing is quite...
The timing was convenient.
Coincident.
It's not like Marques's video wasn't outright saying, hey, check out this document, here's a link to
no,
it.
Marques didn't even mention the document, no.
Okay, yeah, so it's like, okay, that's what I wanted to clear up, because I couldn't tell from the 10 minutes I watched whether it was like, Marques had said in his videos, Marques had linked to the document.
No, Marques just kind of pictures it as like, here's a cool facilities tour. And
which is like, you can imagine a brand's
dude.
Marketing team being like pitching it to him like that, right? Of, hey, come and see our exclusive facility.
Yeah, which it was interesting to see.
Yeah.
But like basically the message that Apple is quite clearly trying to get across is like, look, guys, the reason our stuff's hard to repair is because we build it to last longer, and that just inherently will make it harder to repair, but that's more sustainable than having to repair it more often.
Yeah, it was like, oh, a few more devices may be impossible to repair and end up dead and bricked, but that's a worthwhile price to pay for less phones having any faults at all.
Yeah.
Was the gist, right, of Marques's video.
Yeah, which is, like, fine if it's true. Like Louis said, it's kind of like, there's certain things that make things harder to repair. Like waterproofing a phone makes it harder to repair. It just does. But it does make it less likely to die, because one of the major reasons, or prior to phones being waterproof, one of the major things that killed phones was water ingress.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. We're fine with that trade-off. It doesn't make it impossible, it just makes it harder. Fair enough.
You could even make that argument from, like, removable batteries, right? I don't necessarily think it's as cut and dry, but it's like, you could say, because the battery isn't removable. Samsung
had a phone that was IP60 something or other rated with a removable battery. That, like, one of the first phones with an IP rating to come onto the market. Like, one of the first, like, consumer phones. I think it was like it's S5 Active or something, I think it was.
Yeah, I forgot about the Active. But yeah, like that's... Yeah, I don't believe it. But you could make that argument as a brand.
Yeah.
You could say like, oh, well, our battery isn't removable, because if it was removable, then it would be more susceptible to, I don't know, vibration, or a drop would be more likely to cause a problem.
S5...
I think it would be more likely to be like the old phones, where a drop would actually cause it all to explode, but then you could just put it all back together and it would work fine.
Yeah.
Do you remember that when you drop your phone, the back would come off, the battery would come out?
Oh, yeah, those were the days.
You just plug it all back in and it would just boot fine.
Yeah, I can't find it on GSM Arena, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there was an active variant of a Samsung phone that had like a for the time, quite decent IP rating, and it had a removable battery.
Yeah,
so
it's possible. But I know what you mean. It's like there's stuff they can do that makes it harder to repair, but it makes it more durable, so it's a worthwhile trade-off.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's certain stuff like that. But like parts pairing.
Yeah, that's complete. That's absolute. There's no defense to
bollocks.
That, right? I don't remember them mentioning that either in the Marques video. I don't remember them ever saying, oh, we serialize a screen to the phone.
Yeah. Well, Louis also made another... Basically, Louis went through a load of... In his video, he basically... To be fair, I say he turned a 3-minute topic into a 50-minute rant or whatever. He did, but he also... It wasn't really a rant so much. He kind of repeats himself within like a 60-second loop.
We're within a small window.
It's like he'll go through lots of different examples, and within those examples, he repeats the example multiple times.
Yes.
Which just seems to be how he goes. That's just Louis Rossmann.
That's his style, yeah.
I say, ribbing him because I love him. Anyway, yeah, one of the things that he brought up was, and now it's completely gone out of my brain. What the fuck was I going to say?
He went through the doc piece by piece. He was saying about like stuff that was...
He was talking about a load of historic problems that Apple have had, like various faults, and basically calling bullshit on certain things. So I think an example was how they'd had... they knew that the iPhone 6 had an issue where there was a certain chip where it would bend. The iPhone 6 Plus would bend. They knew that it had a higher failure rate, this chip becoming delaminated from the board basically, than any other previous iPhone, and then they put another chip in the same position on the next generation of iPhone, which then went ahead and, without actually fixing the flexing issue, not the snap in half one, just the flexing issue, just because of the size of the phone, and had exactly the same issue, but it wasn't covered by warranty on the second phone.
Yeah, that was
even
the 6 and 7. That was in the bit that I watched. He was like, they didn't put underfill on the chip, which he said would have been a fine trade-off. From repairability versus durability.
It's not the point I was originally going to make. I can't remember what I was originally going to say now. It's really going to piss me off.
I've got some hot takes on this, to be fair.
Okay, go on.
So, 2 questions. Should Marques... Because this is quite technical stuff from Louis, right? Which is... It's good to know. Should Marques know this? And is... So, it wasn't a sponsored video, I don't think. They didn't pay him to go. The payment was that he got access to go to make a compelling video.
I assume he shot it during WWDC.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that, like, he wasn't paid specifically to make the video. It was like, you can come and shoot this, and, like, the payment is effectively he gets footage that no one else has. So,
yeah,
is being able, and I don't know the answer to this myself, is being able to see inside the facility worth it? Because, okay, so playing devil's advocate here, Marques goes in and he says, he's been given access to this guy, and he goes in and asks him a bunch of really tough questions. He's like, why do you serialize parts? And then the guy, I don't know, gives him some kind of spin or refuses to answer, and then he never gets an Apple device ever again. How do you play this if you're Marques? Like, do you just not go? Or, I don't know, how do you navigate this if you're him? Because it's like, he knows that when he goes...
It's an interesting one, because it's not like he's never said anything negative about an Apple product.
That's the thing. It's like, do you just refuse to go and say, either I can have access to ask whatever questions I want without your oversight, or I don't go?
I think is that the answer? I think, yeah. If it was me, yes.
Yeah, and like it's if they don't
if they stop inviting him to events, it's fucking MKBHD. People will send him phones.
That's the thing. Is it worth it to him though? 'Cause, like, Apple phones, I'm assuming, get like mad views. Like the Vision Pro, and like he was pretty critical of that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but also, would Apple actually ban MKBHD? Like, how much of a risk is it at this point? He's the biggest tech YouTuber, period, at this point.
Is it worth it?
Like, it would be damaging to Apple, I think, if Marques was like, hey, so it was just the latest whatever wanky Apple event, and I wasn't invited because I said something critical about Craig Federighi's luscious locks.
No one can say anything critical about those.
And
they're beyond reproach.
Yeah. I think that would be quite damaging to Apple. So I don't know how credible that argument necessarily is. I mean, this is coming from purely speculative. I have no experience with this industry at all, really. So I feel like the only credible thing for him to do, I feel like with he has a responsibility with the platform that he has, to call out BS when it's spouted, and it's not like Apple are quite harshly in the spotlight.
It's not. I feel like you don't have to be like a Louis Rossmann level tech to know that Apple do stuff that isn't particularly repair friendly. I don't know.
He's even mentioned it in videos.
Right. Okay. So it's like it's well known, isn't it, in the industry that Apple's phones are notoriously difficult to repair. I feel like if you know about tech, you probably know that Apple's phones are. I mean, you've seen there's been class actions against them.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like if he goes in there and says like, "Hey, what about this class action that you had for the iPhone, whatever?" I think pretty much all of them have had some kind of class action. Don't sue me, Apple, allegedly. It's like he can't ask that, right? So does he say, "Hey, here's my questions I'm going to ask. I will ask hard questions about."
I feel like if I was going to burn the bridge, I'd probably have the interview, let them give their BS answers, and then in post go, right, this is what he said. But as you can see, based on this documentation and this documentation and this documentation, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Or even do you go, hey, I'd like to ask them about this. And if they say, no, you can't ask about that, you say, thank you then, but no. Let someone... Because someone else will do it.
I feel like you go if you're gonna burn the bridge, I think you let them give you the factory tour.
Oh, I'm not saying you burn the bridge, because like that almost feels like you're in a way acting in kind of bad faith if you don't give them a chance to respond. You're just like, oh, I had to ask these questions, but here's my thoughts. I feel like if you're gonna burn the bridge, you give them a chance to respond to you.
Yeah, fair
while
enough,
you're there.
yeah.
I think it's a bit disingenuous to be like, ask all the softball questions and go, oh, well, actually, they didn't address this, and this. And it's like, well, they didn't get a chance to because you deliberately withheld that question because you thought they wouldn't answer it.
Well, you could, but I was more thinking not like I wanted to ask them this, just ask them the question, let them answer it, and then if you know that they're going to just be combative and and give you a non-answer, which is they would, if we're being honest, then just in post to say, just for context, Apple is currently facing this lawsuit, this blah 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 blah. That doesn't align with what this guy just said.
Yeah. And what would you do if they were like, oh, you need to give us approval on the video, or you can't come? Would you just not go?
Then just not go, I guess.
Yeah, because he probably couldn't talk about it, right? I'm guessing if you were Apple, you probably have the thing where you'd be like, oh, hey, sign an NDA. Hey, do you want to come to our facility? We need to approve all the questions. Just based on how they've dealt with like Louis before, I feel like they would probably get it all like locked up of like you.
Well, like they don't invite like the likes of Apple doesn't have a relationship with LMG after that debacle that they had with the 5K iMac, where they just literally, or they weren't even they broke it. They were like, hands up, we broke it. We just want a new display for it, and Apple wouldn't even sell them a new display. Yeah, they wouldn't even repair it at cost. They just refused to repair it. Full stop.
I will give them credit there for like disclosing, because that was just like, here's our experience.
And after that, Apple refused. Basically, just didn't send them anything ever again.
So, do you think for Marques, it's like, for him, he's big enough where he can just be like, you know what, this isn't worth it to me for my credibility.
Yeah.
Do you think Marques damaged
people
his
are going to watch
bit?
his video on the iPhone no matter when it comes out? Like, and the review comes out, the first hands-on video, yeah, he probably will eat it a bit on that, but, like, I don't know, what's more important, the views or the integrity?
Yeah, so like, I don't think he came out of it horrendously, but do you think he's lost a bit of credibility from this, in your eyes? Like, if he said something about a product, are you now a bit less inclined to... Or not believe him, because I don't think he lied about anything, but it was like details were omitted. Or
I don't think it's changed. I don't think it's changed my view of him at all, because it's kind of, he's always been in a place in my head where it's kind of like, I know that he's kind of in bed with Apple and these guys. He's never quite been like, the reason it like the Linus Tech Tips betrayal on like hit went with the Billet Labs thing. If we ignore the whole rest of it that we discussed in a previous podcast, they kind of vocally held themselves to a higher standard.
Yeah.
So you kind of held them to that standard as well. You expect better from them. It means that you place more trust in them. I always, to a degree, take what Marques says with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, especially about Apple.
Just because the content that he produces is usually less technical.
It's less like he tends to be a bit more positive about the products. He's less critical, isn't he? He's not like, unless the product's absolutely awful, the odds are he's not going to absolutely slate it.
I mean, obviously he was single-handedly responsible for sinking what the fuck are they called? Fisker.
Oh, yeah, Fisker.
Obviously,
yeah.
If he hadn't made that video, they totally would have survived. It'd be fine.
Just because the product was bad, like Rabbit, for example, if they were to fold, that's obviously entirely his entirely his fault for saying that it's a bad product.
Yeah.
It's not because it's,
I think he has been... I don't know.
I think his reviews are more... It's because it's an in-person thing, and it felt very stage-managed, whereas his review is just in the studio.
Yeah, I don't know whether I can judge him. It's hard to say what you'd do in the start. I feel like I'd like to think I wouldn't have done it.
Well, it's like
I don't think I'm going to stop watching MKBHD videos.
Yeah, it's like when you look at LMG when they went to Cherry.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't asking...
God, that was a blast from the past.
They weren't asking hard-hitting questions, were they? They weren't like, prove this and, oh, you say this can survive this many key presses. You know, it's like, they had a tour of the factory. That's the thing as well with these companies. It's like, they have people who are very good at their jobs working for them. So they're, like, people who will give you the tour. Or, like, the guy they had on camera... He was not some rando who was not at all, like, media trained, right? He was confident on camera. He knew how to answer questions. Like, they don't just send out some rando to go and answer the questions. So it puts you at ease. And, you know, they're giving you a bunch of free stuff, right? They're probably paying for your accommodation. They're doing you a favor. They're giving you access to their facilities that no one else has got.
I feel like that should be disclosed.
It should, but I don't know legally what the thing is with, like, free accommodation, or it's different in different countries probably. But
yeah, I think in the UK it has to be disclosed.
Yeah, the UK's, I think, if Tom Scott's videos are anything to go by, is pretty strict about what you have to disclose.
Yeah.
Other countries, I think, not so much.
Because YouTube's a global platform and he's publishing from the US law. It's like, yeah.
So I think you probably
But there's like a moral... I feel like there's a moral obligation to do that kind of thing. It doesn't... even if it's not the law, like, I feel like morally, if you've been given anything by... It doesn't matter whether it's money. If you've been given anything by a company that you're then critiquing, you should disclose it.
That's the thing. It's like, even if they didn't pay for any of his accommodation, it's like, if they've just let him have access... because no one else has filmed there. I haven't seen anyone else's videos about... It's not like they did a big YouTuber event there. It's like it was just him. And then they probably treated...
I mean, it was a big event. Like, for this particular thing, it wasn't. It was just him. But I'm pretty sure with the timing, he was at WWDC and those... Yeah.
The access that he had, no one else had that access. And it's like, they probably treated him very well while he was there.
No, but then you have, like... iJustine, I think, did a video with Tim Cook.
Yeah.
So that came out around the same time, I think. So,
but it's like, how do you disclose that? Do you go like, oh, and by the way, they were very nice people, but I don't think they actually laughed at my jokes legitimately. I think they were doing it just to make me feel like I was a funny guy and to put me at ease.
Confirmed, by the way. That was,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
say that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
yeah. So they were doing a load of, like, with the kind of, like, you know. And, like, what would make you think that iJustine is maybe kind of, you know, someone who's in Apple's good books?
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, how do you disclose, like, oh, and by the way, they cooked me a lovely dinner for lunch, and it was, or they took me out here for dinner afterwards and paid.
Yeah,
for
like I think it, like if they've paid for something for you, like they paid for your travel, your accommodation, a meal, or anything like that. You disclose it.
Yeah, I agree. To be fair, for the record,
if it's like Tim Cook laughed at my joke, then you know that. Yeah. Fuck off. No.
Yeah.
but
anything they've covered for you, I agree. I think if I think when we get big enough to be touring these kind of facilities, we would disclose.
Yeah, we'll do an audio only tour of.
Well, I wouldn't. That's the thing.
Of like the framework factory or something.
I'm just gonna say I would rely on you to be the kind of moral compass of Scrambled HQ.
Oh no! Does that mean am I the Luke to your Linus?
I think so. I think like I could quite easily get sent a fancy unboxing thing from Intel and be like, "Oh, this is amazing. We love you, Intel. You guys are great."
Oh, by the way, don't buy this stupid fucking useless cooler from Skillet Labs.
Yeah, you are responsible 100% for being the North Star of the Scrambled Checksum.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Oh no.
And speaking of guiding us to bigger and better things, and all these amazing exclusive videos we're going to do, you'll be able to find them every 2 weeks on YouTube, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
Apple Podcasts. Yeah. Yep, bumbled that one. Nice.
Yep, nice. YouTube,
Google Podcasts. I think
Audible,
still.
Google Podcasts.
Some point.
50/50.
Oh, actually, maybe not by the time this one comes out. It's July, isn't it?
Yeah, but probably if you are watching it on Google Podcasts, don't get too attached to it. Switch to YouTube. And yeah, I think that's all of them, right? Deezer,
Audible, other reposting platforms. Did we?
Yeah.
Ah, well. Okay, fuck it. That means we can stop, right?
Right, we'll see you for our Apple tour in 2 weeks' time, guys.
Yep, okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Catch you at the Infinite Loop. Bye-bye.